Friends, I get the privilege tonight to share just one scenario out of literally tens of thousands of scenarios out there. But you'll get the idea, you'll understand just how powerful the Money Max program is. So I want to walk you through what the program looks like and feels like and how it works. This is Brad and Cindy Johnson. Brad and Cindy have $1,000 in their checking account. They're earning 1% interest there. They've got $5,138.89 in savings. They're earning 5.25% there. $475,000 is the value of their home, so that's counted as an asset. If you add it all up, $481,138 in total assets. But like most Americans, Brad and Cindy have a ton of debt, right? I mean, that's most Americans. They've got an American Express card, an auto loan, a MasterCard, student loan, Visa. You can see what the APR is on each one of these individual debts. You can see the balance. On the credit cards, it also shows how much is still available. Again, if you add up all of these balances here, that's about $80,000 of consumer debt. It'll show when the payment is due, how much the payment is going to be. It's all right there at your fingertips. Now, in addition to the $80,000 of consumer debt, Brad and Cindy also have a brand new $389,900 mortgage, 6% APR, with a monthly payment of $28.37. They've also got a line of credit, but friends, a line of credit is not necessary in order for the program to work. If you have one, great. Sometimes it can do incredible things with a line of credit versus a checking and savings, or sometimes the checking and savings beats the line of credit. It really depends on the numbers, and the beautiful part about this is the Money Max account is able to show you which path is better. But if you don't have a line of credit, no sweat, no worries. You're going to see how Brad and Cindy use this program along with just a regular checking and savings account that any bank or credit union to achieve some amazing results. In fact, if we look at that, you'll see right here on the top on that dashboard, even though they just began a brand new 30-year mortgage, the Money Max says, no, you're not going to be in debt 30 years. That's ridiculous. You're going to be debt-free in 10 years and save $337,000 in interest. Friends, would that change your life? I'm betting so. And you guys already know, I mean, this is already an educated, smart audience. You already know how much interest the banks are tacking on top of that. But I wanted to bring it up and show you tonight so you can see. In this particular example, all of Brad and Cindy's debts combined, $469 is the principal, but look at that insane amount of interest that the banks want them to pay on top of that principal. $491,000 of interest? Are you kidding me? For what? I mean, for that kind of money, they ought to be there every day cleaning my house and clothes and making sure my kids are well taken care of for that kind of money. That's ridiculous, right? Total payback of $961,000 over the life of the loans, friends. That's literally 104.63% interest that the banks wanted Brad and Cindy to pay. But again, Money Max changes all of that. If we look at their income, they're bringing home about $8,400 a month after tax. You can see how that's divvied up. Brad's bringing home $1,950 semi-monthly. Cindy's at $2,250 semi-monthly. Their expenses, their household expenses are about $2,755 per month. With the debt payments included, they're spending about $65.73 a month. And you can see some of these bills are itemized. Some of their monthly expenses are itemized. Some are not. So that gives you an overall picture of what's going on with Brad and Cindy Johnson. Well, here comes the Money Max account. And just like you've seen already, it's going to pinpoint exactly what to do and when to do it and tell them every step of the way, here's what to do next, here's what to do next, here's what to do next. Friends, can you follow a simple action plan? Raise your hand if you can follow an action plan. Pretty simple, right? I can follow an action plan. That's pretty simple. And that's how easy this program is to operate. If you can follow an action plan, you're in good shape right here. Now, here's Brad and Cindy's action plan. On September the 1st, it tells them they're going to need to move 186.82 from savings to checking. That's to avoid an overdraft, friends. That's why that's there. But why was the money in savings instead of checking? Remember, Brad and Cindy are earning 5.25% interest on their savings. They're only earning 1% in checking. Where do you want your money parked? Every day that it sits in an account, which account would you rather have it sitting in? Where you're earning 5.25% or 1%? They're smart. They want their money sitting in the savings. If I hover the mouse over the mortgage payment, the program is going to tell me what the balance is going to be after that mortgage payment of $28.37. But I want to bring up my calculator for a minute to show you, as if you needed to see it, but I want to show you one more time how insane the bank's math is. They started at 389.9 on that brand new 30-year mortgage, and the bank says, hey, when you send in your first payment of $28.37, the new balance is going to be 389,511. That means the bank's giving you credit of $388.15 out of $2,837. Really? And they want us to get excited about that? So on with the rest of their action plan. It tells them exactly what to do, where to move their money from where to where every day, and every amount is precise right to the penny based on their cash flow. Hey, Brad and Cindy, take 1915.08 on September 5th, pay off your American Express card. That's going to save you $2,608 of interest. You no longer have to pay American Express. Right on the same day, take 1876.87 additional principal, pay on the Visa. That's going to save you another $2,786 of interest. You don't have to pay the Visa. Now, that's not going to pay the Visa off. We'll get to that next month, but that's a pretty good chunk of change to save right there. And then again, it's having to move some money in October from checking to savings where they can earn that 5.25%. And we go through the rest of October, nothing unusual there. We get into November, and again, it's doing some strategic suggestions here. Hey, Brad and Cindy, this time let's pay off the MasterCard. Pay it off in full, $2,700.32. That's going to save you $4,276 of interest. You no longer have to pay MasterCard. Now, let's finish paying off the Visa. $225.72. And that's going to save you another 21 bucks in interest that you don't have to pay the bank. See, just like you've already seen, the program tells you exactly, it hits the target, it hits the bullseye. Here's exactly when and what to do with your money. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to try and figure it all out. It does all of that for you. And take 906.22 and pay additional principal on the mortgage. Look how precise that number is. And yes, timing matters too. Look at the date that that's being paid. $4,452 more savings in interest by doing that. And then we get into the end of November, and a program is prompting them to move another $87.87 from checking to savings. Friends, that's how powerful this program is and how simple it is. Now, people always want to know, well, gosh, Lynn, that's really, really good. But, you know, sometimes unexpected things happen in my life. In fact, you know, oftentimes my expenses vary, my income, sometimes that varies. Friends, we know we've built this program to be dynamic. It ebbs and flows with you. So when something unexpected happens, when your income goes up and down, it's tracking you, it's watching you, it's everything you can imagine. Now, what happened for Brad and Cindy? Well, they had an unexpected event happen too. Their car broke down. So now they've got to put $2,500 on a Visa card to pay a mechanic. Well, why are they going to use the Visa? Because they've looked at all of their options with the program, and the program says, let's leverage the bank's money this time. It's going to be the best choice in your situation, because it's only going to push you out by an extra month. It's going to take you from 10 years to pay off to 10.1, literally a month right to the day. But did you see what it did to the savings? The savings went up, friends. They were going to save 337,000. Now they're going to save 339,000. And there it is on the action plan. Look what's still there. They're still moving money to savings. They're still paying off the American Express. They're still putting extra principal on the Visa. And they don't miss a beat. They just do exactly what the program tells them is in their best interest to do without missing a beat. Here we are 7 months later, and Brad and Cindy have already gotten it down to 9.7 years. Look at that. They've already saved in 7 months. They've already saved $23,563 in 7 months, friends. Wow. And remember where they were at when we started? They had money owed on every one of those credit cards. Well, now the American Express, it's paid off. The MasterCard, yeah, that's paid off too. The Visa card, yeah, that's paid off also. And remember that 389.9 mortgage where we started out? Now that's down to 385,428, friends. Remember, I showed you that first payment was only $388 going towards the principal. It would have taken them forever to pay that off doing it on their own. But with the Money Max, not only did they pay off all their credit cards, they've got that balance down to $385,428 on the mortgage. That's $4,471 that went to pay additional principal on the mortgage in the first 7 months. So they've literally saved $23,563, paid off all their credit cards, gained $44,776 of equity, and accelerated that mortgage to month 12 on their mortgage amortization schedule. 7 months, and yet they're on month 12 on that amortization schedule, friends, and they did all of it using their existing cash flow. No change to their budget, no change to their lifestyle, no refinancing necessary. So the question is, what could the MMA program do for you?